السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ اسلامیہ کالج وانیمباڈی کے پروفیسر ٹی ابول فضل صاحب کا انگریزی میں لکھا ہوا ایک مضمون مسلم آف وانیمباڈی اینڈ دا فریڈم اسٹرگل میرے سامنے ہے۔ اسے میں آپ کو پڑھ کر سنانے جا رہا ہوں، ضرور سنیے گا۔ ہمیں اپنی تاریخ سے وابستگی ضروری ہے۔ ہماری ماضی کیسی رہی ہے، ہمارا حال کیسا ہے اور ہمارا مستقبل کیسے رہے گا، ان پر ہمیں سوچنے اور غور کرنے کی ضرورت ہے۔ مسلمانوں نے آزادی کی لڑائی میں جو رول ادا کیا ہے وہ کسی سے ڈھکی چھپی نہیں ہے، واضح ہے روز روشن کی طرح، سب جانتے ہیں، تاریخی کتابوں میں سمائی ہوئی ہیں۔ اب یہ جو مضمون اسلامیہ کالج وانیمباڈی کے ڈی ابول فضل صاحب نے لکھا ہے، یہ قابل تعریف ہے۔ ہمارے نوجوانوں کو تاریخ کے بارے میں جانکاری ضروری ہے۔ بہت سی باتیں پروفیسر صاحب کے مضمون میں ایسی ہیں جن کے بارے میں جانکاری ہمارے نوجوانوں کو میں سمجھتا ہوں ہوگی ہی نہیں۔ بولی ماں نے محمد علی کی جان بیٹا خلافت میں دے دے، بولی ماں نے محمد علی کی، بولی ماں نے محمد علی کی، بیٹا جان خلافت میں دے دے۔ یہ آواز گونجتی تھی، اس طرح گونجتی تھی، کہتے ہیں ہمارے بڑے لوگوں نے کہا ہے اور تاریخی کتابوں میں سمائی ہوئی ہیں کہ لوگ جوش در جوش سامنے آ جاتے تھے اور آزادی کی مانگ کر رہے تھے۔ لوگوں میں جوش و خروش دلانے والی ماں تھی، اور اس ماں کی آمد وانیمباڈی میں ہوئی ہے۔ کتنوں کو یہ معلوم؟ واہ واللہ، کیا بات ہے۔ پروفیسر صاحب کا شکریہ کہ انہوں نے اپنے مضمون کے ذریعے لوگوں میں ایک بیداری پیدا کرنے کی جو کوشش کی ہے وہ قابل داد ہے، قابل تعریف ہے۔ میں ان کے مضمون سے بہت متاثر ہوا، اس لیے کہ ہمیں، ہمارے نوجوانوں کو تاریخ سے وابستگی کم ہے اور مطالعے کا جذبہ بھی کم ہوتے جا رہا ہے۔ ہمیں لوگوں میں کتاب بینی کی عادت بھی لانی چاہیے، یہ بہت ضروری ہے۔ تو آئیے میں پروفیسر صاحب کا مضمون پڑھتا ہوں، بغور سنیے گا، ان کی باتیں سننے لائق ہیں۔ میں سمجھتا ہوں ہمارے نوجوانوں کو پروفیسر صاحب سے کہی ہوئی باتیں معلوم نہیں ہیں، انہیں جانکاری نہیں ہے، تو اور میں آپ کا وقت لیے بغیر آپ کو سیدھے پروفیسر صاحب کی باتوں پر لے جاتا ہوں، سنیے گا۔ السلام علیکم۔ A well-written article under title Muslims of Vaniyambadi and the Freedom Struggle by Mr. D. Abul Fazal, Assistant Professor and HOD of History, Islamia College, Autonomous, Vaniyambadi, has been received. I am reading it for your information. Please listen to it. Muslims of Vaniyambadi and the Freedom Struggle. D. Abul Fazal, Assistant Professor and HOD of History, Islamia College Autonomous, Vaniyambadi. A society that does not know its past cannot progress. The Muslims of Vaniyambadi had a glorious past, particularly their role in the Indian freedom struggle was unparalleled. But the present day Muslims of Vaniyambadi, barring a very few, are unaware of it. Knowledge of their stiff struggle against the British and the greater sacrifices they made for the sake of the nation would enthrall them, embolden them, and would instill greater confidence in them. The Muslim community of Vaniyambadi was second to none in promptly and vigorously responding to the call of the nation. Let it be the Swadeshi movement, Khilafat, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, or the Quit India movement. The Muslims of Vaniyambadi stood in the forefront and excelled others in exhibiting an effective participation. But alas, this society is less aware of it. Thanks to the Muslim Jamaat of Vaniyambadi, their keen and shrewd business acumen, philanthropy, and concern over the society, that educational institutions were established in Vaniyambadi and enabled it to acquire the signifier Aligarh of South India. While the educational bodies in Vaniyambadi remind us of this signifier, the absence of any such a book or at least a narrative. Khatib Abdul Jamil, Aina-e Vaniyambadi. This did not deter others. Thus, C.L. Abdul Subhan, who was the chairman of Vaniyambadi municipality in 1947-48, took active part in the Khilafat movement. V.K. Kupusami, Sudandra Poril, Vadarkad Mavattam. So also did Haji Abdul Rahim Sahib and Janab Maulvi Khatib Hafiz Muhammad Abdul Jalil Sahib. Haji Abdul Rahim of Vaniyambadi had organized a Khadar society in Vaniyambadi, and Janab Maulvi Khatib Hafiz Muhammad Abdul Jalil Sahib as General Secretary of Taluka Congress Committee organized and led people V.K. Kupusami, Sudandra Poril, Vadarkad Mavattam. Gandhi called off the non-cooperation movement in February 1922, immediately after the Chauri Chora incident, but the Muslims of Vaniyambadi continued the protest till Lausanne Treaty was signed in 1924. Even after the non-cooperation movement, the Muslims of Vaniyambadi were actively involved in the freedom struggle. Janab Basha Sahib of Haji Street in Vaniyambadi, Fort area, was interested in the freedom struggle from 1937. He was actively involved in the individual satyagraha and was imprisoned in Chennai and Bellary prisons. V.K. Kupusami சுதந்திர போரில் வடார்காடு மாவட்டம். ஜனாப் M.A. Abdul Madar Sahib of Sandaipet, Vaniyambadi, was involved in individual satyagraha and was imprisoned in Rajamandri jail for 1 year. V.K. Kupusami சுதந்திர போரில் வடார்காடு மாவட்டம். The Indian National Congress was founded in 1885 and the All India Muslim League was organized in 1906. However, to begin with, they were at loggerheads on the question of separate electorate for Muslims. The Muslim League wanting it at any cost and the Congress opposing it tooth and nail. Reconciliation was arrived at in 1916 through the Lucknow Pact, wherein the Congress, taking an 180-degree turn, conceded to the demand of the Muslim League. Thus, the Lucknow Pact was a Herculean achievement arrived after cutting the Gordian knot. One of the architects of this Lucknow Pact was none other than a then resident of Vaniyambadi, Janab Yaqub Hassan. Bamford, the histories of the non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement. Janab Yaqub Hassan played a very leading role in the freedom struggle that he became a powerful minister in Rajagopalachari ministry of 1937 to 39. In the First World War, 1914-19, the British fought against Turkey and its ruler, the Caliph, the religious and political head of world Muslims. In the course of the war, Britain occupied Muslim holy places in Arabia and Mesopotamia, and a danger was looming large around that they might be placed under the control of non-Muslims. This infuriated the Indian Muslims, who formed the Central Khilafat Committee and launched a movement against the British in India, which came to be called the Khilafat movement. Gandhi involved himself in the movement and termed as non-cooperation movement. Vaniyambadi had the distinction and privilege of receiving Bibi Amma, the mother of Ali brothers, as a guest when Khilafat movement was at its peak. Bibi Amma stayed at the residence of Janab Namazi Abdullah Sahib. Bibi Amma, along with Janaba Mastan Zulakha B, wife of Janab Namazi Abdullah Sahib, met many women personally and explained to them about the importance of Khilafat movement, most probably inspired by her. Patel Habibul Nisa, daughter-in-law of Janab Namazi Abdullah Sahib, donated 1 kilogram of gold to Biamma for Samarna Ankora Relief Fund. What a great sacrifice to record and remember. One of the aspects of the non-cooperation movement, Khilafat movement, was the boycott of educational institutions. The Muslim educational institutions of Vaniyambadi were second to none in exhibiting involvement. During the non-cooperation movement, Islamia College and Islamia Boys School had become centers of national movement. In the Islamia College, the student strength had gone down to 179 from 373 due to students' boycott of college. Fortnightly report, 17th March 1921. The people of Vaniyambadi pressurized the Vaniyambadi Muslim Educational Society to refuse the aid fund it was receiving from the government as a protest. Police threatening and imprisonments did not deter the Muslims of Vaniyambadi from actively participating in the freedom struggle. Janab Maulana Fazlur Rahman Swati of Vaniyambadi was sentenced to 1 year jail by Tirupattur court for involving himself in the Khilafat movement. During Khilafat movement, Vaniyambadi became a strong anti-British center in the Madras presidency and became a role model for several other towns of the presidency. In accordance with the resolutions of the All India Khilafat Committee, 17 October 1919, 19 March 1920 and 1st August 1920 were observed as Khilafat days. Vaniyambadi once again proved to be the most prominent center of Indian national movement by observing the Khilafat days with a lot of fervor and vigor. The Khilafat days were marked with processions, shutting down of shops and special meetings. The Muslims of Vaniyambadi founded organizations and formed boards for an effective and vigorous struggle. Janab M.A. Khalis of Vaniyambadi played an important role in forming the Khilafat Publicity Board with the purpose of taking the message of Khilafat to far-off places. Fortnightly report, 1908-1920. The board had an organ of its own by name Rahbar. Janab Gundu Abdul Sattar Sahib, with the clout of his influence, took steps to initiate a Khilafat committee at Mysore, Maulvi Khatib Abdul Jamil Ainae Vaniyambadi. Janab Muhammad Usman of Vaniyambadi, with the help of his business in Rangoon, organized Burma Provincial Khilafat Committee and also functioned as its president. Maulvi Khatib Abdul Jamil Ainae Vaniyambadi. The students of Islamia College formed a Khilafat volunteer corps to spread the cause of Khilafat, and this inspired the Indian National Congress to form the National Volunteer Corps, a case of Vaniyambadi leading the nation. The English came to India for trading, but they indulged in political aggrandizement using unethical policy and method. Might is right. They were less concerned about the boiling discontent of the people, princes, and the sepahis, which brought about a great catastrophe that endangered the British Empire of India, an incident commonly called the Sepoy Mutiny. Until recently, the Sepoy Mutiny was considered to be a North Indian event, as little evidence was available for the participation of South India in it. However, Amaresh Mishra, in his recent voluminous work, War of Civilization, has clearly revealed Vaniyambadi as a town populated by Muslims, witnessed the 8th Battalion of the Cavalry stationed in Vaniyambadi, rising in revolt against the British and being disbanded for that reason. Amaresh Mishra, War of Civilization. Taking into the consideration of the facts that erstwhile North Arcot district, where Vaniyambadi is situated, witnessed several disturbances prior to the revolt of 1857. It can be concluded that the local populace would have been a strong influence for the army to rise in rebellion. And again, the fact that the Muslims of Vaniyambadi had established an orphanage for the sake of people who had been affected by the revolt of 1857. எஸ் திவான், விடுதலை போரில் தமிழக முஸ்லிம்கள், further prove their involvement and their second to none ELC status in the freedom struggle. Rejection of Congress demands for an immediate national government, and a constituent assembly forced Congress to launch the Quit India movement in 1942. The Quit India movement put the Muslims of India in general and the Muslims of Tamil Nadu in particular at crossroads, as they have to choose between the Congress that demanded national independence and the Muslim League that demanded a separate land for Muslims. The Indianness of Muslims of Vaniyambadi was much stronger, and so they took active participation in the Quit India movement. It is heartening to note that the Vice President of the Tamil Nadu Provincial Congress Committee at this crucial juncture was none other than a Muslim resident of Vaniyambadi, Janab V.M. Ubaidullah. After the arrest of K. Kamaraj, the burden of leading, preparing, and exhibiting the effective participation of the province in the Quit India movement rested on the lesser known shoulders of this Muslim of Vaniyambadi, MP Sivanyanam, Vidudalai Poril Tamilagam. The effective participation of Tamil Nadu in general and that of Vaniyambadi in particular speak volumes over the sacrifices of V.M. Ubaidullah. What is given above is just the tip of a very massive iceberg of Muslim contributions to the Indian freedom struggle. More lies beneath and has to see the light of the day. When a part of it or all is brought out, the history of the Indian freedom struggle will have to be rewritten. दोस्तों, वानियम्बाडी के फ्रीडम फाइटर बादशाह भाई, वो अब क़ैद हयात नहीं है। एक मशहूर व मारूफ शख्सियत थे। उनसे सबका मिलना जुलना था। क्या मालदार, क्या गरीब, क्या छोटे, क्या बड़े, क्या मुसलमान, क्या हिंदू, सबके साथ उनकी दोस्ती थी। हम सुनते थे कि वानियम्बाडी में भी अगर किसी जमात से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले का कुछ मामला पुलिस में चला जाता था तो बादशाह भाई से राबिता किया जाता था। उनकी मकबूलियत उतनी अच्छी थी। वो कांग्रेस के होते हुए भी वो सबके थे, सबके दिलों में बसे हुए थे। मैं खुशी से आज ये बात कह रहा हूँ इसलिए कि हमें उनसे वाक़फ़ियत थी। बहुत सी बातें वो हमें सुनाते थे, उनकी बातों को हम बगौर सुनते थे। उस वक्त हम छोटे थे, पिरामिड में आते थे। हम जहाँ